Everybody's screaming, everyone's crying. So what's the occasion? Well, Congresswoman Omar got voted off the Foreign Affairs Committee.
The question is on adoption of the resolution. Those in favor say aye. Aye. Those in favor say no. No. It's the opinion of the chair that the ayes have it and the resolution is agreed to. And without objection, the motion to reconsider is laid on the table.
Does that remind you of anything? McCarthy yanked Omar off Foreign Affairs to pay back Pelosi for yanking his people off committees. He didn't want to do it, doesn't think it's right, but he had to do it. You can't let Democrats boot your boys off committees and turn the other cheek. What's good for the goose is good for the gander.
Consistency, there is nothing consistent with the Republican Party's continued attack except for the racism and incitement of violence against women of color in this body.
Today we are watching what I consider one of the most satisfying moments in recent political history. Look, the media is going to try to spin this as identity politics or targeting women of color. But as we just saw in that opening clip, the American people aren't buying it anymore. We're watching a masterclass in deflection from the left, while the GOP finally finds its backbone. This video is a roller coaster. We've got AOC screaming, Rashida Tlaib literally crying on the floor, and some cold, hard facts from Minnesota representatives that the mainstream news conveniently forgets to mention. I've been waiting for this for a long time. It's not just about politics. It's about the fact that if you or I did half of what this woman is accused of, we'd be under the jail, not sitting on a committee deciding American foreign policy. Let's dive into the rest of this and see how the squad completely loses their minds when they realize the rules actually apply to them too.
Good morning, everybody. Steve Dryskowski, State Representative from Mazeppa. Today we are asking the Federal Internal Revenue Service and the Minnesota Department of Revenue to review the tax filings of U.S. Representative Ilhan Omar on several grounds. I am joined by 9 Minnesota State Representatives in making these requests, and I think there's 6 here today. These representatives include Glenn Gruenhagen of Glencoe, Eric Lucero of Dayton, Shane Mecklin of Clear Lake, Tim Miller of Princeburg, Linda Runbeck of Circle Pines, Cal Barr of East Bethel, John Poston of Lakeshore, Dwayne Quam of Byron, and Jeremy Munson of Lake Crystal. We are making this request on 3 direct grounds. First, Representative Omar improperly and deliberately filed for a tax status for which she was not qualified, an illegal action in both federal and state law. The Minnesota Campaign Finance Board found on June 6th of this year that she illegally used campaign funds to pay a law firm to review her tax records. The Campaign Finance Board exposed crystal clear probable cause for a tax fraud or tax evasion investigation when they discovered that Representative Omar filed as married and filing jointly with Mr. Ahmad Hersey in 2014 and 2015. During those years, she was legally married to Mr. Ahmad Elmi. Did the illegal filing produce a lower tax liability for the couple? Did her illegal tax filing bring her tax exemption for which she was not legally qualified? Usually people choose the tax filing status that yields them the lowest tax liability. Also, the board shared that the couple filed jointly during 2 specific years. Ilhan Omar and Ahmad Hersey have been together as a couple for 17 years. Given her record of crimes and violations of so many laws, it may be worth evaluating her claims of status in those other years as well. Second, Representative Omar lived together simultaneously with her first and second husbands at the same addresses in Minnesota and North Dakota in 2009 through 2011. The tax enforcers may need to check if she used an illegal tax filing status and obtained tax deductions, including standard deduction levels for which she was not qualified in those years. Third, we know that Representative Omar took improper kickbacks from 3 Minnesota colleges in 2017 when she oversaw their state budgets in 2017. Under campaign pressure, she returned those kickbacks in 2018. It is worth checking to see if she reported the kickbacks as income in 2017 or deducted the paybacks as expenses in 2018. 5 grounds for an investigation include corruption in public office and tax evasions on grounds of illegal filing status, improper deductions, concealed income from kickbacks, and improper claims for expenses. We are also aware of Representative Omar's pattern of improper conduct. She has been fined by the Campaign Finance Board for diverting campaign funds for an unpermitted political trip to Orlando. She has been directed to pay back her expenses for uncovered political trips to Boston, New York, Philadelphia, Chicago, Florida, and Washington, D.C. She has been punished for conversion of campaign funds to pay for personal legal and accounting services. She has flouted laws regarding the filing of her personal financial data in a way that distorted the political campaign process. On June 25th, I asked my Congresswoman Angie Craig to launch an investigation into these improprieties. That went nowhere. She said, do it yourself. So on July 23rd, I asked the U.S. House Ethics Committee to investigate Representative Omar. That request is currently being reviewed by the Office of Congressional Ethics. On that same day, I launched OmarTruth.com in an effort to rally Minnesotans and Americans to help bring political pressure to bring about a congressional investigation. After 2 weeks, we have over 44,000 citizens expressing their strong desire to bring about a full investigation, and the list is growing. I will be adding today's request to the facts available on OmarTruth.com. Today, I and 9 other representatives are asking the nonpartisan federal and state tax enforcers to open investigations. We are simply asking them to do their jobs. You guys have anything? Questions, anyone?
Do state lawmakers have sway to influence the IRS or Minnesota Department of Revenue? Have you successfully asked for such things in the past? Is there precedent?
I think certainly there's precedent, and I think it's incumbent upon us, Mary, lawmakers, the media, and others, when they see very clear, blatant violations of our laws, to find every way we can to appeal to the people who can investigate and prosecute those laws. And that's what we're doing here today.
How would a state lawmaker's request be different, though, than an average citizen? That's what I'm asking. Do you have any special sway or ability to request something?
You know, I don't think so. You know, I guess the fact that we each represent 40,000 people might be helpful, and it might be something that that those individuals take under consideration. But this gives us an ability, I think, to, in an organized, deliberative fashion, say, we have asked the Minnesota Department of Revenue to do their job. We have asked the IRS to do their job. Before we got here today, we don't know if they have been fully informed and appraised of these facts. After today, we can be sure that they have been fully informed and appraised of these facts.
So President Trump has an obvious place in this as the head of the...
I had a member of the Republican caucus threaten my life, and you all and the Republican caucus rewarded him with one of the most prestigious committee assignments in this Congress. This is about targeting women of color in the United States of America. Don't tell me, because I didn't get a single apology.
Time has expired.
When my life was threatened. Thank you.
Republicans are waging a blatantly Islamophobic and racist attack on Congresswoman Omar. And I've said it before, I will say it again. The white supremacy happening is unbelievable. This is despicable. This is just a bunch of racist gaslighting.
Could it be the way that she
gentleman's
looks?
time is
Could
expired.
it be her religious practices? This clearly isn't about what Ilhan Omar said as much as who she is. Being a smart, outspoken black woman of a Muslim faith is apparently the issue.
The GOP is now doing what it is best at, weaponizing hate against a black, beautiful Muslim woman. They turn Congress into a place of fear-mongering hate. It is so painful to watch who you all are, really.
The gentlewoman's time has
Congresswoman Omar
expired.
will not be silenced.
The gentlewoman's time
to
has expired.
Congressman Omar, I am
gentlewoman's
so
time
sorry,
has
sis,
expired.
that our country is failing you today through this chamber. You belong
The
in that
gentlewoman is no
committee.
longer.
Well, I am Muslim. I am an immigrant, and interestingly, from Africa.
Omar is not just a congresswoman. She tells us she is a global citizen, and people around the world celebrate her accomplishments. We don't know what those accomplishments are, but if you listen closely, the world is clapping.
I'm in a town where we have a lot of people who are refugees who've come, some from Somalia, some from Bosnia. I've never heard one of them say that America's a terrible place or be unappreciative of our country. Most of them are thankful. I've met people who've come here from behind the Iron Curtain that got away from communism. They're some of the best Americans we have because they really appreciate how great our country is. And then I hear Representative Omar say, "Oh, America's a terrible place. I thought there'd be justice, and there's no justice here." It's like, well, she came here and we fed her, we clothed her, she got welfare, she got school, she got health care, and then lo and behold, she has the honor of actually winning a seat in Congress, and she says we're a terrible country. I think that's about as ungrateful as you can get. And so while I'm not saying we forcibly send her anywhere, I'm willing to contribute to buy her a ticket to go visit Somalia. And I think she could look and maybe learn a little bit about the disaster that is Somalia, that has no capitalism, has no God-given rights guaranteed in a constitution, and has about 7 different tribes that have been fighting each other for the last 40 years. And then maybe after she's visited Somalia for a while, she might come back and appreciate America.
Unbelievable. Just unbelievable. I don't know about you, but watching the squad have a collective meltdown is almost as good as the vote itself. Did you see AOC? She's up there waving her arms, talking about consistency and incitement. AOC, honey, the only thing consistent here is your party's habit of calling everything racism the second they lose a vote. But let's get into the meat of this, because the second video we just watched is the one Democrats want to hide. Those Minnesota state representatives laid it all out. We are talking about tax fraud. We are talking about filing joint tax returns with a man who wasn't even her legal husband at the time. We are talking about using campaign funds, money meant for political work, to fly all over the country, to Boston, New York, and D.C. for personal legal fees. How is this woman still in the building, let alone on the Foreign Affairs Committee? The left wants to act like this is some Islamophobic attack. No, it's a Stop Hating America attack. As Rand Paul pointed out in the clip, she's a refugee who was given every opportunity this great country has to offer. Healthcare, education, a seat in the highest halls of power, and yet, she spends every waking moment disparaging the very flag that protects her. If she's so miserable here, maybe she should take Rand Paul up on that ticket to Somalia. And don't even get me started on the fake tears from Rashida Tlaib, watching her sob because a colleague has to face consequences for hateful rhetoric. It's performative theater at its worst. They turn the floor of Congress into a middle school drama club. Then you have Candace Owens at the end, just absolutely dismantling the narrative. The Democrats use these threats of white supremacy as a smokescreen to ignore the real issues: fatherless homes, failing education systems. They want to talk about Ilhan Omar being a global citizen. No, we need American representatives who care about American interests. The Minnesota reps mentioned omtruth.com and the 44,000 citizens who signed that petition. That's the real story here. The American people are fed up. We are tired of the double standards. We are tired of the kickbacks and the improper conduct being swept under the rug because of someone's background. Finally, Kevin McCarthy did what needed to be done. He promised to remove her, and he delivered. This isn't just a win for Republicans. It's a win for the integrity of our government. If you want to hate on America and play fast and loose with your taxes, you don't get to sit at the table where the big decisions are made. What do you guys think? Was this long overdue, or what? I'm feeling a sense of jubilation today, because the squad finally learned that they aren't untouchable. Drop a comment below. I want to hear your thoughts on AOC's performance and those tax fraud allegations. Don't forget to like and subscribe, because the accountability tour is just getting started. The louder they scream, the clearer the truth gets. We're not backing down. More heat coming. Stay locked in.